This episode of Vibrant Living is brought to you by Link Transit. Take that first step. Learn how to ride. And AARP Washington, working with local and statewide organizations to protect Wenatchee area consumers from scams and fraud.
Dave Tosch, Executive Director, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. And today, I'm with Doug Shadel. Doug is the Director for AARP Washington. And we're privileged to have him today. He's a busy guy running the AARP for the entire state. And we have just made contact with Doug recently and wanted to get this information out as soon as we can. So there's some pretty relevant and topical information that I think everyone watching is going to appreciate. Doug, tell us a little more about this program that's coming up, the tip-offs to rip-offs, I guess is what you're referring it to.
Right, tip-offs to rip-offs, and it is a statewide consumer campaign where we're going into communities like Wenatchee and trying to make people aware of the types of scams that are not just crossing the nation or the state, but the types of scams that are calling into Wenatchee. We have a partnership with this company called Nomo Robo, which is a call blocking company. You know, you get those annoying robo dials that say, you know, do you want an extended warranty or whatever? And Nomo Robo blocks those calls, but they also monitor almost 1 million phone lines and can tell us city by city the kinds of calls that are coming into a particular place. So when we come to Wenatchee, we'll be able to say, here are the top 5 scams that are going around in Wenatchee right now, not 3 months from now, but right now. And we're hoping that by presenting that kind of current real-time information about scams, that people will be more likely to avoid them.
So just the other day, I had one of the seniors approach me, and they're pretty astute with the technology in their phone, and they've been blocking calls when they know it's a scam, but they keep getting them. And so I know that this gets in a lot of technical stuff and it gets a little complicated, but for folks that are trying to block calls, you got any tips on that?
Well, it's possible to manually block calls. If a number comes through 1-800-555-1212, you could block that number. It's a little bit of a fruitless task, though, because as you suggested, you know, what these robodialers do is, you know, you can spend $100 and make 100,000 phone calls, and you're calling from a number that changes whenever you want it to change. So if you block that number, they're just going to create a new one. There are several companies out there like Nomo Robo, Robo Killer, Umail, where you can download software onto your phone and they will block the calls for you. I know the most about Nomo Robo. I'm sort of agnostic about which company to choose, but how do they do this? Well, Aaron Foss, who was just on with us this morning and who will be on with us when we come to Wenatchee, described it. He basically went and he bought 300,000 mothballed phone lines. This is about 5 or 6 years ago. And he runs all of those phone lines into a computer. They're still getting calls. They're still getting robocalls and everything else. And that's how he identifies a robocall. So when you put Nomo Robo on your phone and I call you, it checks my number against a huge database, a blacklist database, if you will, of numbers they've already identified. And if there's a match, it blocks it. And if there's not a match, it goes through. So one thing to consider is getting some kind of a call blocking service. You can go to your phone company and ask them for it. Some of these are free depending on who your service provider is.
So if people want to participate in this big event you're going to have, who are they going to be listening to? Who's going to be addressing them?
Yeah, well, the speakers, I'm going to be giving a presentation about the latest sort of one of the hottest scams that's out there right now, which is the so-called tech support scam. And we're doing this in a way we've never done before. About a year ago, I met a guy named Jim Browning. And Jim Browning is I don't know if you call him an internet vigilante, but he is a guy who kind of tries to identify these scammers. You know, the kind of scam I'm talking about is you're on your computer and a screen comes up and says, you've got a virus on your computer. Danger, danger, call this number. And then you call the number and you're talking to a boiler room in India or somewhere else around the world. And what they tell you is, that's right, I'm from Microsoft, even though they're not. But in order to find out what's really going on with your computer, you need to let me remote access into your computer, right? That's the scam. They get into your computer and all of a sudden you have to pay in order to take care of the problem. Well, Jim Browning, who is an IT expert, started getting these calls himself. And he said, okay, yeah, you can remote access into my virtual computer. He's created a virtual computer. And when they do that, he has figured out a way to reverse engineer his way into their computer, the scammer's computer, and he downloads software that allows him to videotape everything they're doing. And so we are going to be showing you basically the inside of the scammer's computer and everything they're doing. And we focus in on one particular transaction where this guy just manipulating this poor woman in Florida, retiree in Florida, and all the crazy things they say. So that's one presentation. Then we're going to have Aaron Foss, who is the head of Nomo Robo, come in and tell your audience, here are the threats coming into Wenatchee right now. We monitor all these phones and we know what calls are coming into every community. And here are the biggest threats in Wenatchee. And I can tell you, they do change. They're not always the same.
Well, Doug, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I think we're looking forward to finding out a whole lot more with some of the programs you're coming up with. Obviously, the special event on June 30th. And I think that it's going to be worthwhile for our seniors to tune in and watch these programs, because we're going to have a lot of this coming up in the near future. Thank you so much.
Your mortgage account has been flagged by our department for the new Streamline Modification Initiative. This new program can lower your interest rate and cut your mortgage payments in half. Press 1 to connect my call, or press 3 to decline this offer. Press 1 now to find out more information on what can be done for you. Press 1 now.
Hi, I'm Detective Kirk Drolet with the Wenatchee Police Department. You just heard an audio clip of an actual scam call. A call involving mortgages. This is one of the top 5 here in the Wenatchee area, targeting seniors. If you got a call like this, I hope you didn't give them any information. If you get a call like this, hang up on them, give us a call. We'll get some information from you to try to prosecute these guys. I'd like to thank AARP Washington for the funding to make this possible.
Hello, this is Daryl Dickinson, a member of the board of the directors for the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Welcome to another edition of Vibrant Living. Today we have the privilege of actually visiting with a somewhat old friend, not that you're old, but somebody that I've known for a number of years, Nancy Barrett, yes, who is owner of Class with a Glass. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Welcome, Nancy.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
So why don't you tell our viewers how you and I know each other?
Well, Daryl, you and I met at Wenatchee Valley College when you came on board, or were on board, on the foundation board of directors, and I was employed at the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation at the same time, and I still work there part-time even to this day.
Great.
Yeah.
And we did have an opportunity to work together, I think, for about 7.5 months, as I recall. So that was a special time. So today we're going to hear and see about Nancy in a little different light today. And Class with a Glass. You bought this business a couple, 2 or 3 years ago?
We did. We bought Class with a Glass on December 1st, 2017, and hit the ground running with, continuing to offer classes that had been pre-scheduled before our purchase.
Tell us a little bit about this program? How does it work? Who does it serve? Tell us a little bit about Class with a Glass.
Sure thing. Well, Class with a Glass is known as sort of a sip and paint style experience for people who come through our doors. We welcome children in, teens, people of all ages, and they, when they arrive, they're welcome to choose a seat at one of our painting tables, and we're able to then lead them through a painting. As you can see, some of the paintings around our studio today, lead them through a step-by-step process to complete the painting. During that time, they're able to enjoy locally crafted wines or beers or ciders. We serve a nice little meal, and it's generally just a really wonderful, creative 2.5 hour or so experience right here in the studio, and just a very relaxing way to be creative and spend time together.
Great. And so you said it's kind of a lesson, is sort of a painting
True.
lesson as part
That's
of the...
true. We have beginners who arrive and have never picked up a paintbrush, and we have well-seasoned artists who also come and enjoy our classes.
Great.
So anyone's welcome, beginners especially. Yeah.
So who do you serve? Do you serve groups? Do you serve individuals, young, old? Tell us about
Yeah.
your clientele.
So we have what are called general sessions that take place each week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday evenings typically, and anyone can sign up for those, whether it's a single person or a small group, people from the same family. But we also really love to host private events. So we might have, a bridal shower or birthday parties for kids or for adults, family reunions, what have you. Corporate team building events are a wonderful way for people who, work together in the same kind of professional environment, and they take a break and come over here to Class with a Glass and enjoy getting to know each other in this kind of an experience.
Great. So it sounds like you just serve a full range of
full range.
ages.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have a neighbor who just celebrated her 8th birthday here at your
Yes.
studio with, I don't know how many of her friends, but
Yep.
looked like they were having a good time from what I saw on Facebook.
It's true. The kids' classes are special. They come in and they're just so eager to learn and go through the process step by step. And on that note, one of the things that I've been able to introduce are summer art camps for kids. And that has been just a delight to bring in, a larger group of kids, have it be age appropriate per grade level. And these kids come in for a week at a time, 3 hours per day, and we just expose them to different art experiences, different art mediums, craft projects, some techniques, and it's really a wonderful time. I'm looking forward to bringing in some new exciting classes this summer for our art camps.
So when you say you're looking forward to, I understand that you might be moving your location in the future. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and how will your business differ from what you're doing today?
Absolutely. Well, this site here, we've used this site now for Class with a Glass since 2014. But it just feels like this business is ready to grow up a little bit more into its next level of exposure and visibility in our community. So with that, we started looking around town to find somewhere that could offer a little bit more square footage and a little bit easier accessibility, and we did find that place at what is currently known as the Value Plus Medical Supply Building on Mission Street.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's a great location.
perfect,
Very accessible.
perfectly great location, and parking and well lit, and so I'll be able to expand my class sizes, but I'll also be able to bring in just some nice variants on some of the retail that we will start offering, with some expansion of art supplies. I plan to have sort of a gallery area where local artists can come and feature some of their work and sell some of their work.
Great.
And because of the additional square footage at the new location, I really am hoping to expand my offering of it just being an event space. Whether someone wants to add in a painting lesson at the same time as having an event or not, I know that event spaces are at a premium here in Wenatchee, so I'd like to be able to offer my new location in that way as well.
Well, good luck to you, Nancy, in your new location. I think your business is about ready to expand and explode in a good way.
I hope so.
And thanks for spending time with us today. And remember to tell people again, you have a website and a phone number, or what's the best way to contact you or find out more information?
Sure, thank you. The website is classwithaglass.com. And we actually will have a new phone number at our new site, and that phone number is 509-888-5878.
Great. Thank you. Nancy Barrett from Class with a Glass. Thank you for joining us today, Nancy.
Thank you, Daryl.
Dave Tosch, Executive Director, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Today I'm with Fran McClure, who's had a lot of involvement with the Senior Center over the years. And long before I ever got here, her and her husband, Pat, have been involved in our weekend and weekday dances for a long period of time. Many of you may not know that we have live music dances twice a week. Well, sometimes we take a break on the weekends, not every single weekend. But anyway, get my drift that we have a nice contingent of folks that like coming out here and dancing to really good music, live music. And Fran and her husband have been doing that for quite a few years. They're also snowbirds, so in the wintertime we don't see them quite as much. But Fran has also helped us out with our thrift store and handling donations, bringing in donations for a period of time when we first reopened last summer. So we didn't really reopen though, did we? Our thrift store opened up in June, and so then we asked Fran. We were asking others for help and came out and helped us. So Fran, tell me a little bit about how you found out about the Senior Center when you came to town about 10 years ago or whatever, maybe longer than that now. Tell us a little bit about how you found out about the Senior Center and what you enjoyed about coming here.
Okay, Dave, I'd be glad to. Well, Pat and I moved over here from Lewis County in 2007 in the fall, and we wanted to go to dances, and we heard about the Senior Center dances, so we came in and probably went to a Tuesday afternoon dance the first time, and we sat at a table, and no one else was at that table. We didn't know where we wanted to go, and we sat there, and a couple next to the next table over were sitting there, and it happened to be Ted Zacher and Matoya Harville. And Ted said, well, come over and sit with us. And we said, okay. So we did, and we just really enjoyed the four of us together. And then that following summer, it was getting towards summer, and Carl and Lorraine Fulkerson had been taking care of the dances. They're volunteers, and they were burning out, and they said, we need to have someone else take over for a while. So the four of us decided to do it for that summer. We had a great time doing it. And then Pat and I took over from there for the next couple of years, and rather than doing it so much ourselves, we had other people come in and help out. Like they would host one time, like these are weekend dances. But what we enjoyed about the dances here, as people were friendly, have really good music, several different bands that are live, just a nice time. And we know of people who come to just listen to the music that don't dance at all. So it's the Senior Center has been very valuable to us.
I know that we've had people come from as far away as Omak, I think, in that area, Soap Lake maybe. So
Pateros, yes. Yeah.
So, and that's always good too, to bring in folks from outside of our valley here. One of my memories that serves me pretty well was when we built our new parking lot. I was looking for someone to help advise us on our landscaping, because we had a requirement a year after the parking lot was built to plant some landscaping to fulfill our obligation with the city. And so I think I saw you having written an article in the Wenatchee World as a master gardener, and I recognized your face from the dances, and I think I just reached out and gave you a call and said, Mary Fran, would you help us out here? We need a little expertise on how to, what to plant and how to go about all that. So maybe you'd like to share with them what all you did, because it was quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was fun to do. I do enjoy that, but I especially enjoy working with you, Dave, and working here for the Senior Center. So yeah, we had to come up with some kind of plan for parking area, and we also wanted to keep the price down because we don't have a lot of money. And yeah, I think it worked out really well. I enjoyed doing it.
Well, I know we had some volunteers from Alcoa that actually came out and did a lot of the work, the physical planning and all, but you did the diagrams of where we should place everything, and I think it looks pretty nice, actually.
I think it turned out good, and I really like those trees. They're starting to get nice size now. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Yeah, you've had a real challenge here because this has been here for a long time, and so some of the plants around the building are getting too big, or they're too much maintenance, or whatever. And I can understand you're taking on a lot, Dave.
Yeah, well, the building has been here for, I don't know, we're approaching 30 years.
Is that right?
A lot of the original landscaping is still here. And when we had the fires a couple of years ago, the big fire, the Sleepy Hollow fire, which blew a lot of embers our way, I became real concerned about some of our landscaping that was right up against the building. And so in the last few years, we have managed to take some of that out, and we're looking at replanting some other foliage that is not so maintenance intensive, or we don't have to care for all the time, but will last us a long time and not a fire hazard. And so you've been able to help advise on what to do with all that, and I appreciate that.
Which is just good. I enjoy. Yeah, Firewise landscaping for master gardeners has become a big thing because of the fires that we've had in the last few years. A lot of people are paying attention that they weren't before, and they realize that you've got to pay attention to the trash. You can't just put it over the hill, and you don't want to have a whole bunch of conifers that can ignite easily.
Yeah. We've also, in some of the recent windstorms over the last several years, actually, we've had some evergreens topple, and so we've got some holes and voids to fill, and we're going to try and get some of that done this spring before it gets hot. So, again, you've been helping me, advise me on what to go with, and we're all about low maintenance around here. So. I think we're going to achieve some real success, and people will see a big improvement in our landscaping here over the next several months. Well, Mary Fran, I want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us this afternoon. The weather's been fabulous. It reminds us of why we live here.
That's exactly right.
And hopefully everyone's going to see some nice improvements in our landscaping here at the Senior Center with Mary Fran's guidance.
Thank you. And hopefully we will have everything open soon so we get to come back and enjoy it, because the Senior Center is just such a nice place to socialize, and we really need that.